board gamers, and welcome back to Not Board Gaming. I'm your host, I'm Mark. So today's video is going to be a little bit different from my usual videos. It's not going to be an unboxing and it's not going to be a review. Look, obviously the coronavirus is happening globally, so many of us are absolutely kind of on lockdown or isolating or shut within our homes, and we're not getting the social interaction that we get from board gaming normally. Of course, there are virtual platforms we can use such as Zoom, such as Board Game Arena and Tabletop Simulator, but a lot of us may not want to use that, or may, be wanting to play an actual physical board game. A lot of our board games require more than one person, although obviously being a solo-based channel I tend to focus on soloable games, but there are a wealth of soloable games that are in your collection that you may not know are soloable. Of course, any co-op game can be played solo, and anything that has an inbuilt solo mode can be, of course, played solo. However, today what I'm going to do is going to be a brief tutorial on how to play Undaunted Normandy solo. That's right, Undaunted Normandy, absolutely one of the definitive two-player games. But there is a way that you can play this solo straight out of the box without having to print and play any files or any additional equipment. All it requires is your absolute honesty. So I'm not going to review Undaunted because, of course, Quinn's on Shut Up and Sit Down, I think, gave the definitive review on Undaunted Normandy. And if you're very interested in that, I mean, you should watch that review. Then by all means, go and watch Shut Up and Sit Down after you've watched this video, and go and check that review out. So what I'm going to do, not review it, just give you a brief kind of 5-10 minute overview on how to play Undaunted Normandy solo straight out of the box. Remember, you have to be honest with yourself. So when you're setting up for a solo game, the very first thing you do is absolutely just set it up as you would for a normal two-player game. Then what's going to happen is you're going to deal yourself 4 cards from each deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cards from the Allies deck. And here we go, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards from the German or the Axis deck. So in the normal game, you would define your initiative by having 4 cards and then choosing a card that you want to play. The higher the number, that's the side that gets the initiative, but of course you may want to play tactically. We're going to strip that out for the solo version, and it's literally going to be a simultaneous reveal of both of the top cards in your hand that you have drawn there. So here we go, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards for the Allies and the Americans, and there we go, we can see that the starting initiative number is 6, and for Axis or the Germans, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards there, and we can see that the initiative there is 9, and that means that the initiative is going to pass to the German side, and these cards you then move into your discard pile, and that still leaves each side with a deck of 3 cards, a hand of 3 cards that we can now start using to play the game. And we will start, because the Germans have the initiative, with the German side. Okay guys, the only way that this mode is actually going to work is if you play completely honestly and to the best of your ability with both sides. Now, if you have a bias to one particular side or another, then you're not going to get the most enjoyment out of this. So you must play both sides to the best of your ability. As you play through the scenarios, you will find that they are weighted to one side or another. So a really good kind of competitive element to have here is keep playing a scenario until the underdog side wins. The only way that you're gonna get the enjoyment is by playing both sides to the best of your ability. Okay, fair warning over, back to the tutorial. So, we created our starting hand of 4 cards. We've used the top card to define the initiative, and we've created a discard pile next to each of the sides here. So there's the American discard pile and there's the German discard pile. Because the Germans got the initiative here, we leave the American pile alone, and what you will do is you will take the 3 cards that you're using in your hand and you will play them absolutely normally, not looking at the American hand unless you are killing one of the American soldiers. So you will play those, you'll put those in your discard pile, and of course then you'll move over to the American side or the other side and play those cards and put those into the discard pile. The next round you're going to deal yourself 4 more cards from each side. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And you will create a new initiative there. And again, you will turn over and you'll see what the initiative is. And there we go. We can see that the Americans have got it this time. So that initiative moves over to the American side. And that's how the flow of the game works. That's how you will create your initiative each and every turn. But what about if you kill one of the other side's soldiers? So what if those dastardly Axis people have killed an American rifleman soldier? Okay, so the first way that we check this, if obviously the Germans have the initiative here, is I'm going to go through my hand of 3 cards and I will search those for the American rifleman. So we have a scout, we have a rifleman A, and we have another scout there. So of course they killed the American rifleman. I'm going to put that to one side over there, but of course it's spoilt what I know about this unseen deck of cards. Not to worry, all I do is I shuffle these back into the deck, and I'm now going to draw back 2 cards, because of course I would have had a hand of 3, but my rifleman's been killed, and I'm going to leave them unchecked until it's the American round. However, what if I'd gone through this hand of cards and I'd kill the American rifleman, and of course in my hand of cards the American rifleman A wasn't there? Well, then I would move on to the deck of cards which I haven't seen yet, and I would look for a rifleman A. If he's there, I would take him out and then shuffle that deck again. So again, the surprise is coming up. The third way is if I haven't found the rifleman in my hand of 3, if I haven't found it in my deck, I would just take a rifleman from there and I would put that as a defeated soldier. And what that does is that creates obviously an element of the fact that you aren't knowing what these cards are. As you remove cards, you're going to shuffle them back into the deck and then draw out the relevant number of cards. And it really is that simple. Of course, if the Americans had gone first and they had no cards left in their hand, and those dastardly Axis had killed, again, the American rifleman, there's no hand to search through there, so you would go through, first of all, the deck to find the American rifleman. If he's there, you would then obviously put him into the discard, into the dead pile, and if it's not there, you would then just take it from the reserve that's available. And you can see how that works. That is just a nice and easy way to actually go through the hand, maintain a secrecy, and keep the flow of the game moving forward. And that's it, guys. When I said it was easy to solo Undaunted Normandy, it really is very easy to solo Undaunted Normandy. There's nothing there to stop you absolutely going up to your shelf if you've got Undaunted Normandy, grabbing it off the shelf and setting up a solo game for yourself, because there is still a lot of fun to be had by playing it solo. Of course, if you haven't got Undaunted Normandy, it's relatively inexpensive. I think I picked this up for around about 20 quid, something like that. So it's not an expensive game to have, and it is great for passing just a few hours. Now, I do know that there are some sequels of sorts coming out, and I know David Turchin is involved in the sequels as well, so I think that with David Thompson and with Trevor Benjamin and David Turchin working together, future versions of Undaunted Normandy and, well, the sequels of it will have passion up, so a very good solo mode. Look, once again, thank you very much for joining me on Not Board Gaming in this kind of special episode of showing you how to play Undaunted Normandy solo. Any questions, get in touch with me at Not Board Gaming, either on Facebook or on Instagram. That's always BORED, Not Board Gaming. And of course, remember to like and subscribe to our channels and watch our other videos as well. So in the meantime, stay safe, everybody. Keep isolated, stay at home, and remember, if you've got nobody else to play with, there's nothing wrong with playing with yourselves. Until next time.